Hi and welcome back. As you know, I'm Shiatsu Shane. Today we have Alicia joining me. She's a long-term client and she's also training now in sports massage, which is cool. And today we're going to be doing Technique Tuesday, following on from some of the other videos I've recently done. And we're going to do a simple one today. We're going to be looking at Effleurage and Petrissage. So I'm just going to quickly pop a towel over Alicia's joggers, just tuck them in. Now, effleurage and petrissage are just basic techniques that we use quite a lot. It's a simple but effective, and we use them to warm the muscles up. We use them to prepare the client, to prepare the fascia a little bit, get the client used to our touch as well. Although if you just tap them like that, they might jump. And how you generally work now, if you've done Swedish massage before, you'll work with at the side of your client facing upwards, and you'll generally have the table at waist height. And that helps with your posture. Now, this table is low. In fact, this is the highest this table actually goes because this table is set up more for doing table shiatsu and like Thai massage. But we are using it to do a little bit of oil work. So ideally, you'd want it as high as your waist. And generally speaking, you want to stand so that your waist is next to their waist. And then we're going up the body towards the heart. So you want to apply a little bit of oil. Now you can do it a couple of different ways. Alicia seems a little bit jumpy today. And we're just going up the body, over the shoulders and back down. And you only need to use a really light touch for this. And the belief is that you go towards the heart as this helps with the circulatory system. And it just wants to be a soft stroking technique, so either side of the spine. Now you'll notice that I've actually contradicted what I just said about standing. But for me, in order to actually stand facing upwards and then leaning over, I've almost got to stand on one leg. So what I do is I take like a lunge position at the side of the client, and then that gives me a good amount of movement. And I'm not moving from my shoulders. If you notice, it's my body that's moving. Also, you don't want to look too much over the client like that, as that closes your chest and curls you around. So it's good to try and keep your chest open as you're doing this. Now, once you've done it like this, either side, you could follow it up with a overlapping hand. This allows you to do a slightly firmer stroke. And all I'm doing is one hand's going down, the other hand's going over the top, like so. Now, even though, traditionally speaking, you work towards the heart, and all we're doing is we're going up the side of the spine, we're rolling over the traps, around the shoulders, and we're coming down. And like I was saying, even though traditionally it is to go towards the heart, you'll see me quite often working from the top of the head. For me, this is a lot more comfortable and a lot easier to warm it up. Now, if you're doing this and you're working again to try and work the muscles in the circulatory system, you want to do a light stroke down and then pull up as you go. So I'll go light down and then pull up. And there's different ways you can do it. You can either do just a full on all the way down the body and then go up. or you could do it part way. So you're going a quarter, then over half, then the full way down the body. Now these techniques are great in themselves, but you can also use them as in-between moves when you're transitioning between working a body part or using certain techniques. So as you see that I blend both Western and Eastern techniques into my treatments, you'll often see me, I might do that and then drop into some pressure point work, or I might drop into using my elbows. So just nice and smooth movements, that's all we're doing. And that is effleurage. The next technique we're going to look at is petrissage. Now petrissage is just kneading. And all we're doing is you're like treating a person's body like dough. So you're moving along and you're picking the flesh up with one hand and then the other. So you're just doing like a dough-like movement. Now with this, we want a body position facing the client so that we're able to move smoothly. Now again, you'll notice that as I'm doing it, my whole body's moving, more like a dance, I guess. The reason being, if you try to do it from just your arms, right, straight away, what it makes you do is you almost hold your breath, and your shoulders are going to get tired, your forearms are going to get tired, and your wrists are going to get tired. In fact, learning to move is one of the most important skills a therapist can learn, because if they move primarily from the thumbs and the shoulders, and that's where all the strength is coming from, eventually these are going to become bust. And if they become bust, that means you're not doing any more work. So again, you move around, you can do petrissage in a number of places. So it's really good on the lower back here. It's good to work on the glutes, on the hamstrings, but you can also do it into the shoulders, into the traps, into the arms a little bit. You can even do it either side, such as like this. So you're getting both sides of the body and you're just kneading away. Okay. So again, we're looking at effleurage close up, and we want to be just at the side of his client. Now, as I mentioned before, you're coming up towards the heart and then down again. And your strokes only need to be nice and light. Don't need to use a lot of effort. Shouldn't be using any effort really, because it should be coming from the movement of your body. This should not be coming from your shoulders. So you're moving to it. You're moving from your hara, your belly, your centre. So if you've ever done any kind of martial arts or boxing or dancing, you'll understand that the arms are simply an extension of his body. Therefore, we want to keep them relaxed and just smoothly move. So when you're doing effleurage, you can either go the full length of the body, like so, around the shoulders and down, or you can do it in parts. So you can do the top, you could do the middle, or just the lower back, and up and around. Then we can do a double-handed technique. Personally, I wouldn't try and do it on the opposite side, because then you're leaning over too much. So you're just coming up and around and down. And by doing it this way, you can apply a little bit more pressure. But again, right now, the aim of the game isn't to use too much pressure. Now, even though the aim is to work upwards towards the heart, I sometimes like working at the head of the table. Again, knees slightly bent. You're just leaning in and pulling back. Now, it's quite a light touch going down, and then more heavier touch going up. That's if you're to work and your focus is on the circulatory system, you're working towards the heart. However, the body's made up of more than just the heart and the circulatory system. Obviously, we've got to take into account the muscles, the fascia, and the meridians. And they don't necessarily have a start and end point. So there's not necessarily a set rule with all of that. So sometimes there's nothing wrong with breaking the rules and just working your way downwards. And working to your level of what you feel comfortable. So me personally, I probably work on a little bit heavier than some, but not as heavy as others. It's about finding what works well for you. And as well as doing that, we can then do alternative strokes. Still effleurage. Again, you're just moving from your body. Smooth motion. We tend to use effleurage sort of like when we're mixing up techniques, in between techniques, if you like. So when you're transitioning from one move to another, so like if I've done some fascia work, you then do some of this just to warm the muscles up and help prepare the client for what you're doing next. And then we come around to do a little bit of petrissage, so it's just kneading really. So you just knead into the body. Again, we're letting his arms move with his body. So allow your body to move. And you can do this sort of kneading in quite a few places. The traps are a good one. The lower back's a good one. But you can also do it on the arms. Little pro tip. When you're doing petrissage, you're ticklish today, aren't you? So a little pro tip. When you're doing petrissage, because your hips are face on with your client, especially as a man, but women also should be aware of this, is be aware of the size of your client and how close a proximity you are to the table. Now, you might not really think a lot of it, but me personally, I've had it a lot of times when therapists have been working on me and they've rubbed things past my arm. So a way to avoid that, and quite often the therapist is unaware of that feeling, is you just take their arm and you put it out the side of you. And that way you can work freely at this side of the body without the risk of anything touching. Now that wouldn't happen with Alicia anyway because she's quite petite, but some clients might come to the edge of the table and therefore you don't want to risk it. And it's important that both men and women think about that, because men have got no idea, they can't sense it, they can't feel it when they're working. And as for a woman, if you were to do it on a man, the man might get the wrong idea. So that brings us to the end of another Technique Tuesday, where we've looked at effleurage and petrissage. And I hope I've given you a few tips on doing this to your own clients or maybe your friends and family. Now, I'll be adding more of these videos shortly. But I just wanted to share a little bit of thought that went through my head as I was working this. And part of the reason I'm doing these videos is to learn myself. And you might actually think, Why would he need to learn himself? He's been doing this for full time for 10 years. I've got over 6 years of study behind me. However, when I first came out of my studying and I went self-employed, I thought I knew everything. I thought I knew everything about the human body and everything about massage. And over the thousands of treatments I've done, what I've come to learn is I know very, very little. And I'm still learning every day. And the more I learn, makes me realise how little I do actually know. So part of the process of making these videos for you is so I can also learn too. So please give this video a thumbs up. Let me know in comments what video techniques you'd like me to cover next time. Okay?